Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Mama Genius Hub podcast. And today we're going to be talking about financial freedom. We all need and deserve it. Mamas, yes, we do. We need to stop worrying about the money. I'm working towards it. We got Ren here who is an expert in it to help us get past some of those fears and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce her right now, which I lost my little spot I had open. Ren is a CEO, transformational business coach, award-winning speaker, is certified in many business tools, and is a creator of financial freedom. And don't miss it, joy. You can have joy behind all of it. It helps entrepreneurs. She helps entrepreneurs grow their business, their income, and their peace of mind, and helps with that technology piece. So we're going to be covering some of those practicalities today. Welcome, Ren. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here. It's just wonderful that it's you, especially Michelle. We've worked together on so many projects, and I'm so excited to be here and share with your mom audience some ways to get true financial freedom. And the bigger part is the money doesn't solve all the problems, it's the joy behind it. So when we put it together, there's some amazingness your way.
That's so true. And I just want to start back to what is your why behind all this?
Oh my. Well, there's a lot of whys. I like, in the sense of like, there's the big humanitarian mission why, and then there's always the what's in it for you kind of why. So the bigger thing, one of the things I asked for my mission and my clarity after I took a personal growth thing. So it came about is my mission is to teach people how to build businesses that last, that create freedom, time freedom, financial freedom, and peace of mind. And these are businesses and people doing good in our world for generations. And that's really where it's just getting on purpose. I love to share with people, and especially moms, being a mom myself, like my journey got a whole lot more complicated and slow once I had those kids. And so it definitely changed things, though it's also the inspiration. And I realized like I could have all of my dreams, though without that family and those loved ones around, my dream house was rather empty. And so then that's where we really put it together for that vision for everyone.
I love that. So we're going to just dive right into some of the practical things. So that's really what the whole point of this Mama Genius Hub is that we bring on these experts, but we give you like tips that you can take away today to help you with your part in the business. Are you hearing an echo or is it me?
I heard a brief something. That was the first time I heard it.
Okay, I'm just sorry. I threw my mind, ladies, but we're getting back to this. So let's just start diving in. So this mom has a business idea, right? And it's just, that's where I like start with this. And there's like this baby, like, right, that they're growing. It's a baby, but like it needs that growth. So where do they start with all this? Where do they start by bringing this idea into the world?
Well, there's two folds, and that's what I love to teach through. It's like we have the technique, so I can tell you the how to. Though, when we put the mindset with it and that growth, that's really where you're going to grow your business. So, a lot of people and moms, especially, it's like you have these dreams and you have these ideas. And so, part of that is nurturing those ideas. And I love that they refer to the birth of an idea. And in one of those classic books, Think and Grow Rich, they talk about, you need to nourish an idea, feed it. And so that's the same idea, that your idea, it could be a personal goal. It doesn't have to always be a business goal, though, whatever it is, you're nourishing and protecting that like a little infant. And if you're not giving it that nourishment at the beginning, then the idea generally will die or wither away. So that's a huge part of getting started, is feed yourself in that inspiration. So huge. So please, mamas, if that's all you do, just feed those ideas and grow them, and gratitude around it. And the how to will really take care of itself, because you'll learn what you need to know as it comes along the journey.
I find that so interesting that you learn, like, it's almost like the idea of the teacher, you ask for the teacher and then the teacher appears kind of concept, in terms of sometimes it's just that letting go and surrendering to the idea and the belief in it. And so what tools can we, or how do we get started with that? What do we do to foster that?
Good. Well, the personal growth that, I mean, in terms of gratitude, set yourself a gratitude moment. I love to start my classes right around 11 a.m. because 11:11 is one of my favorite gratitude moments. And so if you set like an alarm on your own phone for an 11:11, or I don't care what time of day or anything, or a sticky note when you're going to go out the door, more gratitude will change your life. So just a gratitude practice. Like if I honestly don't have that alert on my phone, I might not have a conscious gratitude moment. And so taking those and putting in the things that are important is a huge part of success.
I took that one from you and I put it on my watch. And actually, when it went off today, I was with another speaker. I'm like, it was before we even started recording, but I took that pause just to have that conversation with her. And she shared something she was grateful for too. So I think the more that we have that, so once we get this mindset and stuff into order, then we go into, let's talk the scary number, the technology.
Technology and the money, right? We talked about financial freedom. So part of that is looking at the abundance. And in our physical world, a lot of that is tied to the amount in the bank account. So looking at those tied to, so how can we then use technology to grow the numbers in our accounts or the number of sales that are coming in and all of that? So that's where we look at that. And I love to create the systems with the technology so that way you can be doing what you're doing and make sales. Like Michelle, just what, an hour ago, you were doing in your zone of genius, being in, interviewing in class and all that. And while that's happening, she made a sale.
We made one together.
In one of our joint projects. Though that's what the exciting part and where we use technology. So in terms of that, break it down. Michelle has a link, and the link explains what she's offering. Then when someone's like, oh, I like it, it could be a free gift, it could be a registration page, a class you're talking about, it could be a product or service, or this is my restaurant, look out this, grab this coupon about my restaurant or my dental practice or whatever it wants to be. So then whatever that page is, in order to give them the thing you're talking about, they exchange their email. So that's one of the most valuable assets that you can have on the internet is an email address, because that's a great way to be communicating with people, and it opens up the world to be able to grow that relationship after the fact. And so that's where we make a sale one time, and then it's the blossoming of relationships and also leveraging time. So that's now that these sales can come in, and Michelle put the time in to have this wonderful page that explains it. She made a video to welcome people in. All of that was done. And now the process can be replicated. And that's what we look for in our numbers, our success, our business, is where are more places we can use technology to free up our time to make more sales and then keep us in what is growing our business or taking care of our kids or having some self-care or vacation. That's the bigger goal when we talk about financial freedom, is how can we have income coming in without us being dependent on showing up. So you can be in your business or be with your kids or do whatever you're doing and the money still comes in.
I love that. And the reason why even being in your course and doing things like that is realizing, though, when you are creating those pages or those free gifts and things that you want to offer, you start to get in your mind. You're like, I can't do this, or I don't. And I think that's where the community and the coursework and the stuff comes in to release that.
And having other eyes, mentor eyes as well as colleagues, and of course your test audience, so things like that is then, I think, almost that judgment. I mean, humans have a huge fear of judgment and that and acceptance. So when you're putting your work, your business, your creation out there, not just to hope for results, so especially saying, how can I make this better? Is it clear to you? Would you take action? I mean, the first time you had those pages, not a lot of action, and also, I mean, energetically, did it feel really good, like putting it out there? It's like it got started. It was better than nothing. Though it's when we put the time into investing even with our kids, taking those moments and slowing down with them and knowing investing my time in doing a good job in this moment helps to make a happy kid in the future. Same thing in our business. Slowing down, doing it right now allows us to have the technology or the systems that can make money for us with or without us for long in the future.
But I love how you said that, like still getting it out there and getting started. And then as you get it out there, that's when the refining starts to come in. It's like perfect is not the obstacle here. It's that we're getting it out there. And again, until you get it out there, you don't even know how to refine it because it's the audience and stuff. And you get the feedback from people to say what really clicks with people. But if you just sit there saying, I'm going to wait till it clicks, you're not going to know until it's out there.
Exactly. And you had success on the first ones, and that's where we always work at refining success. And even if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm having 1,000 sales a day or something magical, well, technology changes, an algorithm could change, this could change, so it's like being set on. That's where I like to teach people the core skills, because those go with you everywhere. The rest of everything will change. That's the guarantee. There will be change, especially with technology.
I think we're proof of that, which is probably why it happened to you. But the first interview in like 20 with StreamYard, and Ren comes on and she's like, my video is not working. And I'm like, well, at least it was the technology queen that has to figure it out.
I know. And it's the mindset that it's not this like huge obstacle. It's stressing me out. Like there's all of this that could have happened. And the way that we react or respond in our business, with our kids, with everything, is what then determines the outcome. And so we were able to have some creative things I wouldn't have even thought of. Michelle found a solution, and boom, incognito mode saved the day. Who would have thought, right?
And some were like, what the heck is incognito mode?
Yes. It's a way of having your internet browser. So it's like all the stuff you don't know that you don't know. And that's the part of thing of being a lifelong learner, is we're always going to be learning and growing. And so tying into your goals and the things that you're looking for will always be changing and evolving, your priorities and shifting. And that's why I really like to take a stake in the ground, as they say, for building things right, trusting and knowing that you're putting in great structures that pay off, and that you're not always in this grinding mode or trading time for dollars. If you're not able to step away from your job or your business and have the money be okay indefinitely, then you're not in a position to be able to create true lasting freedom like only 3% of the population has. So it's not something unusual that most people have to be trading their time for dollars. And then we get to retirement, and then you have a fixed amount, and then you stretch that out, or you live within the passive income that the government gives you. Though most people then don't have a way of increasing that passive, because your whole life you've never created additional income streams. And so that's where doing these things now and understanding the skills, especially with technology, it's like, I know I can build stuff, whatever comes my way, because it's so fun and easy. And that's what I love to encourage people to do, is just, there's a different way, and let's have some fun with it, please.
I love that, because there is a different way. And the one thing I'm learning is there's never one way fits all. But then that just puts so many ideas out there. But then we have to, as you said, with the mindset, that's where we go into to figure out which way is going to work for us. Because that's the key, is that's what this podcast is all about, is giving you those suggestions, those ways. But again, that's why I mentioned almost every episode is going inwards and listening to your own gut. Does this sit with me? And maybe it doesn't. So then you find a different way, but you need to hone in and figure out what works for you. And that's what this is all about, to give you the ideas and the things that you might want to work on, and then decide for you. Because there is no one size fits all or one right way or any of that. There's one right way for you that you can figure out from yourself.
Thank you for speaking to that. It's so important.
So I know one of the things we were talking about yesterday, and then we were talking about that we would share in here, is you are the queen of AI these days. And it is becoming a new way of doing things. Because I have to admit, last year without AI, I'm not sure I could have done a podcast in 2 weeks. Like the way like things have changed and things happening. And so I thought we could have a little bit of conversation about that as well, since I know that's one of your strong suits as well.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing. And I didn't even know what I was really getting in when I started talking about AI. It's not even been a year since it's really been out there. I gave my first class training to business owners March of 2023. So it was barely on the market. And at that point, it was like, wow, check this out. A lot of people also, there was fear. So that comes when there's, change or something new. A big thing about being replaced. So that when we don't have financial security, the income's not coming in, there's going to be a lot of fear. So that's where a lot of people, even now, like seeing all the AI, and now we had writers strikes about it. Like there was a whole lot about this. Okay. And it's probably not going away. So what I encourage people, it's not that AI is going to replace you. It's that people who are utilizing AI can replace you. I mean, look at this. Michelle was able to pull off an entire podcast launch in 2 weeks. So versus how many other people are wanting and wishing for podcasts, and if they're doing it on their own, it's probably going to take longer, or it might be a lot more stressful, or Michelle's language, chances are when she's hired a top copywriter to write her podcast, aka AI can do that for you. So she now has a killer part that's going to stand her out from the crowd than the other podcasts. So this is just one example of where a little app called ChatGPT or Google Bard can completely revolutionize everything that you're working on to get your mission out there.
So let's just break it down, because I'm not sure how many people haven't even heard of it yet, but I'm sure there's some people who've never used it, especially if there's been some busy moms. We're going to work on that wording as well out there. Where would someone start, and what can it be used for?
Get it as an app on your phone, please. Busy moms, get the app on your phone. I mean, that's the best thing that ever really happened to moms, that you can have everything with you at the tips of your fingers. And so for a lot of people still don't even think about having it as the app. And Bard does not have the app yet. Oh, I see we've got Sal watching it, and she says true, about AI. And so that's one thing, when we have it at our fingertips and we're able to do amazing things easily, it really changes. Here's a little hint. I told Michelle about it, so hopefully it doesn't get you in trouble, though I was so happy with myself too. So Michelle launches her podcast, and I want to support her, of course. And how can we do that? Well, leaving reviews. And so I'm sure you've probably been asked to leave reviews from your colleagues or friends or family members. Please leave me a review for whatever. Well, I wanted to make a good one. And also there's a lot of brain power and energy. And I thought, win-win. Let me ask my ChatGPT app. And so what I did is I went over to Michelle's podcast and I copy pasted her whole about section, which also, remember, had been refined by AI. Though I grabbed that and I said, hey, chat, my friend, an amazing colleague, has a new podcast that came out. Here's the information about it. Could you write me a friendly and casual podcast review? And so I also have to say the win-win in that it saved my time. I got to copy, paste, refine, add some special details. And Michelle ended up with a much better podcast review than if I had just done it myself. I mean, look at us saving time. I mean, it was like a couple good paragraphs of a review. It was concise. Also, for the user experience that's reading it, it's a much more helpful review. It tells, the highlights or this or that. So it's this win-win-win experience, and it saved me time and energy.
I have a good story for you too, Ren. Is last year we did the 12 days of genuine protection. We did one of them together. And what spurred it was the fact that I did not want to do the Christmas letter. In hindsight now, I realized it was because I felt like I had nothing to share. And after we had one weekend where my son and I got our black belts and he did his play, and like I felt like I had a conclusion to the year, which I didn't have before that weekend. So I ended up writing it, even though I did this whole stint about it, right? But this year, what I did was I took the format from last year, changed a few details in the paragraph, and was able to now put the exact same format through ChatGTP to keep the same length and everything, but the details were changed. And normally my husband's like, oh God, I'm gonna have to help edit this and I'm gonna have to help this. He's like, wow, you did a really good job on this year.
Oh my God.
And then I admitted to him I did ChatGTP, but I was like all of a sudden determined, like, because Thanksgiving weekend is usually when I do it. I went in and I just like, I'm gonna get this done. I found the pictures I wanted, I did this, and I just plugged and played with it and was done like that.
Oh.
With something like that made me do a whole series last time. But again, it's about the holidays and figure out the things that you want to do and how do you time save that? Because ChatGTP can even do your meal planning for you if you wanted it to.
Oh my gosh, yes. Or it's meal planning, or you look at, hey, here's the ingredients in the fridge. So not only can you say what recipes, like that Google was able to do, a kind of decent sort of thing. Well, then let's say you want to get particular and say, my kids are super picky and won't eat these, or there's allergies or this or that. Like you can be able to customize, and then bloop, you've got all these recipe ideas in a matter of like 10 seconds. And then you could even put in simple ingredients or time saving. I want a recipe that, can be done and on the table in 15 minutes or something. So like there's so many different ways that busy moms can be able to utilize this totally free tool.
So I know we're going to be running out of time. So I kind of want to wrap up this part before we get into our 5 questions. But what I love about AI is its possibilities. And again, it's not perfect. It still needs a human touch. It still needs your input. It still needs you to refine and know what you're looking for to even say, yes, I'm going to use it or not. So it's not like it's this one stop, but what it will do will eliminate that blank screen. That blank screen when you want to write that Facebook post, that blank screen when you want to do your Christmas letter, that blank screen to give you ideas and then refine things with it.
Yep.
You have any final tips on that note on AI?
Well, the app on the phone. So please, like if you're watching this, you can even comment, I've got the app. I've got the GPT app. Not that I'm a proponent of it. They're just the one with the best app out there. So hopefully Google Bard catches up because Bard is good for other things. So I think it's just that willingness to go ahead and play and learn. And that my kids went absolutely nuts for Siri when it comes out, and I'm sure your kids are, like the kids are so fun, or the Alexas, or the my little Google Nest thing. Like they love to say like, "Hey," blah, blah, and have fun playing and testing out the capabilities for it. So that's what I encourage you all to do, whether it's for specifically a mom thing, or you're a business owner, or a money question. There's so many ways we can use it around money, or ways to generate income, or save money, or budgeting, or calculate these receipts for me. Hello.
Light bulb just went off.
Thank you. Yeah.
Did not think of that one.
It's been doing math things for me like that. I had it take I had 2 lists of emails, and to be able to tell me which ones were on both, things like that used to need to go through like a spreadsheet with formulas. Copy paste and chat like in a second told me which ones, and then I confirmed in the spreadsheet, because chat is also known for making things up because it wants to please you. So at least it is a positive little character for you. It's not programmed at all. It's not able to be negative. So that's a happy way for us all to live, is programmed positive.
I love it. All right, we're going to get into our 5 questions before we run out of time.
Yep.
So number 1, Ren, share your favorite book or resource that has impacted your journey as a mom.
Ooh, as a mom, you know what? One of my first parenting things, it's called Love and Logic. So if you've heard of it or not heard of it, before I even adopted my kids, I knew I wanted to be a mom, and I was listening to the Love and Logic. So it was just almost like that pre-homework. So I completely love that. And then for the financial path, Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I believe you're reading right now. And so that was the one that really shifted things for me. And so there's a lot more that I've learned behind the scenes, especially in the personal growth realm. Those just are the scratch of the surface. So,
I love that.
begin your journey.
Number 2, what is the special family tradition or ritual in your household that brings joy, encourages connection in your family?
Oh my gosh, so fun. These are my best childhood memories, and I've also done my best to recreate them, although not as often, as an adult with my adult cousins, and then including the younger generation. Though when I was growing up, that my family was exceptionally amazing for playing hide and seek, though we didn't call it hide and seek. It's like a supercharged version of that. So like all the adults would get involved, like massive hiding, like it was amazing. And so that's our special thing. And playing games in general.
You're inspiring me. Maybe that's going to be a new Christmas game that I'm going to suggest with the
oh my gosh. Okay. Well, it's called Beckons Wanted. That's one version. And then Sardines is another version. So if you don't know what those are, please connect and talk to me, people, because this is really, really important hide and seek stuff.
We're going to be talking about that. Though number 3, I think leads us perfectly into talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad, because it was actually reading part of it yesterday that talking about the idea of being too busy. And even in Rich Dad Poor Dad, he says busyness is a laziness because we're masking behind the things that we really should want to be doing to be busy, that we miss out on the parts of our lives because we're not focusing on the things that are really important to us. So on that note, I'm opening up this conversation and answering the question when someone, a lot of times we say, how are you? And as busy moms, so I say, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. But some people are renaming the question. Some people are just giving you ways to answer. What's your take on how do we change that conversation?
I would be very careful in terms of language as your I am statements. So the I am busy and putting that as your identity, versus I am radiant or I am happy or I am this. And so just, I think it's really on the verbal statement. When we look at how we describe ourselves, is that really how you want to be? Because the more you talk and proclaim how busy or stressed or overworked or all of that, awesome, and you're creating more of that by stating it.
I love that, because I think that's what even made me bring up this conversation, because it feels like we're falsely defining ourselves and we're doing that jointly as a society, and I want to give us some new ideas to think about doing it differently.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. I love everything that you and your podcast and work stands for.
Thank you. So that leads us to number 4, which is describe what genius means to you and how do you feel when you're living in your genius zone?
Well, it feels good. I love that genius is kind of that idea of when time stands still, like you're so absorbed in something. So that's probably a relatable. I see you nodding. It's like for people that they really understand and they just are engrossed. So I would say, and that's so many things like kids and playing. They're so engrossed in their things, and that's their genius. They're little. They're supposed to be playing and refining their skills of whatever they're after.
Which leads us directly into number 5, which is how do you encourage a child to explore new skills and passions and living in their genius?
A huge part would be about the encouragement and openness to just letting them have that palette to explore things. And then something literally just today, Facebook showed me this interesting thing. I honestly didn't overly like the title of the message, which was something, and it was about Native Alaskan children that don't show anger. So I was like, well, that's kind of odd. Though when I watched it, the real message was way amazing, because the huger message in that is about modeling and scolding and reprimanding. So as we are reprimanding them, that's teaching them to become like that. So when we're talking about explaining and skills and genius, it's the scolding, and I mean, I'm very, very guilty of that. So, but that's what most people are. So it was looking at this culture that does not raise their voice. They don't show anger, so that's maybe its own thing to mention. Though the way that they're expressing it. And then the second thing, which I loved, and actually why I shared it in our, moms group, was because it talked about having them role play what the offense was that you would be scolding or screaming at them. So it was a role play. And in the role play, you could teach or model or reflect when they're role playing. And let's say it's like hitting somebody at that moment when they're role playing, you could say, that makes me hurt or fearful, or so it's that chance to respond. So I thought that itself was amazing. So please, I would say this would bring out those skills and those passions of the children as a society if we responded rather than reacted.
Well, I mean, it really is why we're even here. It's all about the modeling, and why I'm saying that moms need to show their genius, because when they show themselves a happy, healthy adult, then they're role modeling that for their children to live in their genius and become happy, healthy adults. But they don't care what we say. And so if we're just say, go do this, but we don't show them, then it's meaningless. And so that's what this is all about, is that give and take. So before we end today, though, I want you to get an opportunity to first of all tell a little bit about your program, but then also tell a little bit about Workshop for Moms.
Awesome. Well, I am a business owner. So
Of course you are.
That. And so there's a lot of different amazing projects. And what I love to do, my passion is working with other entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, aspiring to have their own businesses, and working together to have that mission, how we can have money coming in from our businesses, our creations, and being able to have it come with or without the need to work and have it tied to you. So that's our bigger mission. We put it in place, and then it can run and feed and nourish us. And so that's what I love to do through my programs. I have a free Facebook group for entrepreneurs and business owners, and all about the financial freedom and joy. So you can find all of those links in the chat. You can connect with me. The website is YOUR, and then FFJ for financial freedom and joy. So yourffj.com is a great way to be able to, find it easily. And then you can find the different groups and things like that. And I also have an upcoming class about AI. So you're welcome to attend that. The information will be there. And if you are not able for this upcoming one, make sure that you can still register and connect, so you know what other amazing classes are coming up for 2024, because we've got some goodies.
Yay.
And I was just going to say that for Workshops for Moms, which we are co-partners in that. So it's a collective of amazing speakers that come together to share their message for moms. And so when I like to speak, generally it's more about the mompreneur stuff. Michelle has amazing insights on genius and other moms that might talk about sleep or preschool or gardening. So it's just a beautiful connection. And then we also have our women's circles that Michelle is a co-host of. And that is just such a magical place to come and get connected. And that's what I didn't have for so long as an entrepreneur, is that space to be able to connect. And so I'm so grateful she provides that for us.
Thank you, Ren. And thank you so much for coming on today. And so, yes, we do also have a workshop coming up if you're listening now, it's December 3rd of 2023. If you're listening then, you just go to the Workshop for Moms Facebook page, and there'll be more events. We do monthly right now, and we're going to be working towards getting them back up even more in the future of next year. We'll figure it all out, but right now they are monthly. So even if you didn't make this one, go look up and find the next one. And there's always a panel and a workshop and a women's circle to join with that at the moment. So we look forward to having you, and we thank you for tuning into today's episode. And thank you so much, Ren, for being here. And we'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.
Aloha.